Welcome one, welcome all to Max's Mic. I'm Max, and I have the mic. Today's episode, we are going to be talking about the 2023-24 NFL playoffs. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. This season, we've got a great slate of playoff games that are starting off tomorrow, Saturday, January 13th. So we're going to go in order of when these games happen. Starting the first game that we are going to get to see is going to be the Browns at the Texans. Old taking on young. It is going to be Joe Flacco, the quarterback of the Browns, leading that offense, leading that team, taking on the young guns, CJ Stroud and the Texans. Starting with the Texans. The Texans have looked really strong this year. Stroud has looked amazing. And while his other rookie on the team receiver, Tank Dell, is injured for this game and Noah Brown a little shaken up, this offense has still been able to find ways to thrive using whoever is available. Nico Collins, the main receiver number one, but even in weeks when both Nico Collins and Tank Dell were out, or when Tank Dell was in, Noah Brown has stepped up. All the while, Devin Singletary has taken over as the lead back in a backfield that everyone thought would be led by Dameon Pierce. On the other hand, the offense has looked relatively solid. Will Anderson Jr., rookie, with 7 sacks this season and 10 tackles in 15 games that he's played in the regular season. Looked good, not great, but a really solid showing. The 7 tackles were amazing and a great start of the season. On the other hand, they're taking on the Browns, a team whose offense has been mediocre throughout the season, has looked really good, has looked really bad, has had 6 different quarterbacks. So there's a lot going on, a lot changing, a lot moving parts going on with this offense. And specifically at the quarterback position. Now, starting the season with Deshaun Watson, it's bounced around and it's fallen on Joe Flacco straight off of his couch. However, he's looked as good as ever. He's looked phenomenal. Coming into this game, lead receiver and his favorite target, Amari Cooper, as well as he's loved to use David Njoku a lot more, and we've seen a lot more production out of Njoku, which has been all positive, which is all good. Unfortunately, losing Nick Chubb at the start of the year. However, Jerome Ford looked pretty solid, and Kareem Hunt has helped pick up some of what's lost. But the Nick Chubb injury really hurts this Browns team. I believe that Amari Cooper will be back and healthy. Elijah Moore, I don't think will be. I believe he'll be out with a concussion. Did not look good last week. But this Browns team's really found its success from the defense side of the ball. Myles Garrett leading that pass rush that has been phenomenal this season, as well as the secondaries look strong as well. And because of that, I'm going to lean more on the Browns to win this game. It's going to be a tight game, but I think it's going to be the Browns pulling out the win 28-21 off of CJ Stroud not having the best game and the Browns defense really pulling it out and giving their offense plenty of opportunities to score. The next game is the Dolphins at the Chiefs. Tyreek Hill going back to Kansas City, play his old team, and of course, the weather has to be terrible. Some are saying the high is going to be 5 degrees. Some are saying the high might be -5 degrees. All we know is it's going to be a night game in Kansas City, and it's going to be cold. What does the weather have to do with this game? Well, the Dolphins play Miami. What's it like in Miami? It's hot. What's it going to be like at this game? Cold. How have the Dolphins played in the cold so far this year and in years past? Not very well. However, who's their top target on offense? Tyreek Hill. Where's he played? Kansas City. What does that mean? And what am I putting together? What I'm saying is that Tyreek Hill is going to go off in Kansas City against Kansas City. And it's going to help carry this team. Yes, the Dolphins have a fair amount of injuries. Jalen Waddle and Raheem Mostert are two of the bigger ones on offense. Bradley Chubb on defense. However, I feel that when it comes to this Chiefs team, there's no one really notable enough on this offense besides Mahomes, quite honestly, to be worried about for an injury. It's been their defense. Last year, their offense carried and their defense was almost non existent. This year, the exact opposite. Mahomes has been working as hard as he possibly can and has been getting very little to no help on the offensive side. With Kelce having a career low in almost every single possible tight end statistic, as well as no clear wide receiver, Rashee Rice has stepped up, has come up, and has become the number one receiver. But even still, he's not making plays right now. Yes, he's young. I believe it's his rookie year, but he's not making these plays that a number one receiver is going to make. He's not getting open. It's not as easy to get him the ball. And Mahomes has been struggling to get his receivers the ball. So because of that, I feel like this is going to be a low-scoring game, a tight game at that, with the Dolphins winning 21-17 off the back of Tyreek Hill. I believe he'll have 2 touchdowns and will help carry this team. And to finish it off, the last game in the AFC is going to be the Steelers at the Bills. Mike Tomlin once again continuing to have the continued streak of winning seasons, continuing to get this Steelers team into the playoffs. This Steelers team looked down in the dumps. Kenny Pickett getting injured, healthy, not being that good. Mitch Trubisky, I think, jumped in there. And now all of a sudden they got Mason Rudolph, and Mason Rudolph's looked great. To shocker of few, because there are many out there that remembered Mason Rudolph playing relatively well, then getting injured a lot, and then them going to Kenny Pickett because, well, Mason Rudolph got injured, and he wasn't amazing, but he was pretty good. Now he's looking better. However, this Steelers team's they're just not that good, though. Like, I feel they're carried more on their defense, kind of like a Browns. However, the Browns' offense is playing much better, and their defense has been playing much better, and TJ Watt's most likely going to be out for this game. Very big piece of this Steelers defense is going to be missing. On the other hand, Josh Allen has thrown a lot of interceptions, but he's also looked pretty good. He's been unable to get the ball to Stephon Diggs. If he can do that, that'll be key, especially with Gabe Davis out this game. He's got to get it to Diggs. And what the Bills need to do is that they need to bring this offense that they were looking to use throughout the whole season back in this game. And that is the 2 tight end sets that they were looking to use with Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid. Dalton Kincaid has looked great through Dawson Knox's injuries. However, because Dawson Knox got injured for a good amount of the season, they haven't really been able to use those 2 tight end sets. With James Cook also breaking out and being a phenomenal running back, they got to get back to that. They got to get back to these 2 sets, 2 tight end sets. And I think if they can do that, they're going to win, and they're going to win in dominant fashion, 31-17. Now we get to go to the NFC, and the very first NFC game is going to be a blowout. The Cowboys have received a very late Christmas present wrapped in a bow. They get a very, very good chance at winning in the first round. They get to play at home, doing thanks to the Lions not tackling both Dak and CeeDee Lamb, and also not knowing how to report eligible. And they get another present. They get to play the Packers, who have somehow managed to make it. This Packers team has been a hot mess. Jordan Love could be it. I don't know, but he hasn't looked like he's going to be it for a future franchise quarterback for the Packers. And their defense has just been a mess, with Jair Alexander doing who knows what, but yet also still being one of their best players and one of the best defensive players in the league. So, simply put, who knows what's going on with this Packers team. And on the other hand, Cowboys have looked amazing. Look out, Ferguson. I think he's going to go off this game as the Packers try to stop CeeDee Lamb, who also can't be stopped and will also have a great game. Dak will do Dak things because they're playing at home, so he'll play well, but then who knows what's going to happen next week. And that being said, as I said earlier, it's going to be a blowout. The Cowboys are going to win 41-14. Yeah, I think this game's going to get ugly. Moving on, the next game, second to last game, is going to be the game that I feel like a lot of fans are really looking forward to. This is a game that I'm personally looking forward to, as I've kind of, through fantasy and my team, the Giants, sucking, fallen in love with both these teams, kind of, the Lions and the Rams. The Rams at the Lions. Matthew Stafford going back to Detroit. Goff hosting his former team, the Rams. And if anyone out there wants to make an argument that the NFL is scripted, here's a big piece of evidence to support that. You got Tyreek going to the Chiefs, and you got the Rams and the Lions playing in the playoffs in the first round. This is going to be a battle. This is going to be a close game. The Rams have looked throughout the season, but that's because this is supposed to be a rebuild year where this team's not supposed to be that good. So congratulations, Sean McVay. You are building up a really good resume to support why you should be considered one of the best head coaches in NFL history. Because here you are taking this team that is kind of falling off, getting a little old, and all of a sudden, Puka Nacua and Kyren Williams and late in the draft, and all of a sudden they become absolute studs and are carrying your team. Puka Nacua, rookie record receiving yards, looking to take over that number one receiving spot over Cooper Kupp. And you got Demarcus Robinson, who's playing pretty solid, and another good wide receiver. And then you got Kyren Williams, who is just running the ball over every defense. They've been bouncing around Henderson and Akers and a bunch of other running backs, and all of a sudden, Kyren Williams is the guy, and he's going off. On the other side of the ball, Lions are doing the same thing, finding a great receiver, in which he's actually not a receiver, he's a tight end who can catch the ball, Sam Laporta, who might be back for this game, but I don't know. He's probably going to end up injured, which is going to be a huge blow to this Lions offense. But it's going to open up the possibility for other wide receivers to get some receptions in this offense. Amon-Ra St. Brown doing Amon-Ra St. Brown things. He is, as his name says, the sun god. He is amazing. And he's going to go off this game. But just like the Rams, the Lions have also found a rookie running back stud of their own in Jahmyr Gibbs. Gibbs, once given the opportunity to run, has been explosive and dominant. And as the Lions said earlier in the year, they tend to use him a little bit in the passing game as well. And while I feel like they're using him, I wouldn't say too much in the passing game, but we'll get into it. And I also want to bring in David Montgomery and these two running backs that they can alternate with. Now, what I was getting into earlier is that a lot of times when they have Montgomery out there, they're running the ball. Or they're doing a deep pass, but Montgomery's going to stay in and block. If the running back is going to run a route, that's when Jahmyr Gibbs comes in. I feel they need to spend some time flipping the roles a little bit, run some plays in which Montgomery goes out and is the primary target for a short pass. Instead of running the ball first down, do a little short underneath check down or a screen to Montgomery to pick up those 5-6 yards, whatever you're looking to get, instead of running the ball up the middle for 4 yards. And then bring in Jahmyr Gibbs on first down and give him the first down run. Mix it up. Change it up a little bit because they're starting to get a little predictable, especially late in games when David Montgomery, he's either blocking for a deep pass or he's running the ball. Here's Jahmyr Gibbs. Now we got to make sure that we cover the receiver. If I'm on defense, I need to make sure that I'm covering the running back, Gibbs, in case he's going out for a route, which he most likely is. But now Montgomery's in. All right, if this is a pass, I can drop back. I don't have to worry about him because he's blocking. So you got to mix it up a little bit. But this is going to be a battle at the end. It's going to be a close battle. Looking on the defenses, both teams' defenses have looked relatively good. The Lions' defense looking really good. Both teams have one amazing pass rusher that's really standing out above the rest. And once again, we got this old versus new coming after you. We got the Rams coming in with the old Aaron Donald, and you got the Lions with the new Aiden Hutchinson. Both have been amazing. This game's going to be a battle to the end, and I think the Lions are going to win on a winning field goal. I'm calling it a field goal, including this prediction, 24-21. I believe I have another 3-point finish coming up in the last game. However, I don't think that one will be off of a winning field goal. This one, I think will. I think the Lions kick a game-winning field goal and win this game 24-21. Going into this final game, and in my opinion, the worst matchup out of all of these, and the game that I don't feel like anyone's really looking into. Well, yes, I've had the Steelers and Bills and the Cowboys and Buccaneers as blowouts. At least they've got some really crazy, well-known fan bases. On the other hand, these two teams, their fan bases consider their teams, well, mess-ups, screw-ups, and failures, as both of them have struggled to do much of anything but barely make it into the playoffs, yet somehow be the 4 and 5 seeds. That is the Eagles at the Bucs. Eagles fans really annoyed with their team right now. They've dropped. They're 1 for 4 in their last 5 games, losing somehow to the New York Giants so badly that you're taking Jalen Hurts out halfway through the game. He can't even make it halfway through the game. He's thrown 2 interceptions and can't do anything. And now you've got A.J. Brown injured. Devonta Smith might be injured. DeAndre Swift might be a little under the weather. Jalen Hurts might be hurt. This team's banged up, and their defense is almost non-existent. You go from probably the best defense in the league last year to a not-so-good defense, having to rely on your offense to carry you, and then when the offense is struggling and the defense is struggling, there's just nothing. On the other hand, you've got the Buccaneers, who have had their ups and downs. Baker Mayfield is the quarterback. He's been back and forth. You've got good receivers. You've got a good running back, some solid tight ends, a decent defense, and all that gets you to is a 9-0 win over the Panthers in a must-win game for you guys. So, 10 of the season. So, Bucs not looking too good. Eagles not looking too good. This game's going to be, who knows what this game's going to be. I say the final score will be 23-20 Bucs. This game was just going to be a game. I don't think this game deserves the Monday night time slot. I think that should have been the Rams. I think the Rams line should be this Monday night time slot. I think that they should have reworked this somehow, but I don't know how they got it, but congratulations. You guys get the big primetime Monday night slot, and it's whatever. That game's just going to be a hot mess. So, in conclusion, we've got the Dolphins winning, playing the Ravens next week, in which, again, I'll be coming out with another video next week talking about who I think is going to win, breaking down the games a little more in depth. Then we've got Browns are going to win, and the Bills will win, and they will play each other at Buffalo. That'll be a fun game to watch. Buccaneers are going to win, and they'll get to play the San Francisco 49ers. That'll be, well, Niners probably going to clean house in that game, but we'll get into it next week if that is the case. And then the Cowboys will get to host the Lions again. A rematch. A game that will be exciting and thrilling and the best game of that weekend. So really hoping that happens because that would be a lot of fun to watch. Either that or the Cowboys lose in the first round magically to the Packers. So we'll see. But stay tuned till next week. Have fun watching these weeks of playoffs. I hope you stay fresh. Goodbye.